around. Shelton on the three-point line. 2 seconds. One gets off the shot, and it's good. Oh, my. And I guess that tells you all you need to know about this first quarter.
Hooks comes up with it, gets it to Myers down the court, and he's got a wide-open dunk, and he throws it down. Myers with a right-hand jam makes it 24-10. Loring gives it off to Holzhauer, fires it out front, Cowley with a three. Good, and a foul to go with it. How about that?
And good morning and welcome to another edition of the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. You like that quick draw there, don't you, Ron Yance? It is the aforementioned Ron Yance, joined by myself, Jared Gozar. We're going to take you through to 11 o'clock this morning, recapping scores, highlights, and conversations with coaches from around our area. The Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show brought to you by the folks at Nick Abraham Buick GMC and Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, located at Broad Street and Route 57 in Elyria. LMRE, the Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative, your Touchstone Energy Corporation, Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company, Lorain County Community College, good education, high quality education for good jobs. Notice I always do that when you are next to me, not anybody else.
Thank you.
And good morning. Welcome into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show once again. Busy night throughout Lorain County. Busy day coming up today. Ron, a really busy week and one that was a little bit unconventional as we dealt with some serious weather throughout the county, which prompted, I think, everything to be closed on Thursday. So you and I were together on Wednesday night over at Avon Lake for a tremendous girls basketball game as the Shore Gals kind of avoided and staved off a very hungry Avon team that came out there and had something for them. But when we exited the building, it was a lot different than when we walked in.
Hungry and healthy, Avon was.
Yes.
And, we thought that would be that type of game, and I think both coaches knew that it had the opportunity to be that type of game. So that was a fun one to call, but you're right. When we left Avon Lake High School, which sits only a block from Lake Erie, on Wednesday night, you could tell that, well, actually, there were already school closings as
Right.
we were in the gym.
Yeah, we were getting word of it. Yeah.
So, but we could see that coming up on Tuesday of next week with games that, that are scheduled
Extreme
for
cold.
The cold, the Arctic blast is supposed to hit on Monday and Tuesday is going to have temperatures at like minus 20 on Tuesday.
And there's going to be a lot of kids out there. And, I would think personnel, faculty members alike that are thinking of themselves, that's the bonus right there. If you get the Martin Luther King holiday off on Monday and you just parlay that into something like that,
You're right.
that could be the break that everybody needs post-holidays. But I digress. We want to talk some hoops this morning, and we've got a loaded slate of scores. I'm going to get us started. Ron, you get us started in the Lorain County League.
Well, Brookside beat Columbia last night, 66-59. We'll have the coach from Brookside, one of your favorite guys, coming on the show this morning. Black River beat Clairview 50-36. Holzhauer and Keystone, the Wildcats, knocked off Oberlin 65-37. We'll have Jeff on with us this morning, and then Firelands, Colin Myers is going to join us. They beat Wellington 53-40 last night.
In the SWC, it was Elyria taking down Avon in a battle of the Titans of the SWC, not the Berea Mid-Park Titans, more on them in a moment. But the Elyria Pioneers with a 78-64 win over Avon. That was our game of the week on the CT YouTube page and online at WEOL.com. Brett Larrick's going to recap that one shortly with us. He'll join us in the second hour. It was Amherst getting that back on track, knocking off Midview 81-66. Pat Bray will join us later on this hour. Berea Mid-Park, we've mentioned them. 72-57 winners over the Avon Lake Shoremen, and their tough road to hoe keeps coming at them for Coach Kwasniewski in his first year over at Avon Lake. Battling very talented teams in that Southwestern Conference. And speaking of, Olmsted Falls a winner over Ridgeville last night, 63-49. Chris Delisio getting prepared to join us very shortly here.
Elyria Catholic knocked off Benedictine 89-76. Cleveland Heights beat Lorain in a tough one for the Titans. They lose in overtime 74-67. And the in the league last night or the association?
In the association, the Cavaliers winners 117 over the Philadelphia 76ers 115, back-to-back wins in that mini-series. And that's a lot of momentum, I think, for the Cavs, who come home now, get a couple of days off before back in action again on Monday in a 2:30 affair for Martin Luther King Day. So, that's just a tremendous slate of games that the NBA puts on, both the NBA and the NCAA. College basketball, it's big on Monday as well. That's a day where if you're off or you have the time, relax and just get reacquainted with basketball. It's going to be cold. It's going to be long. Get in here for the winter and stay indoors and watch some hoops.
I'll be out embracing the cold.
I have no doubt. I've seen what you do with the cold. Big slate of girls basketball this afternoon. And then, Ron, certainly we've got a game on WEOL.com later on today. But I want to get us started in terms of girls basketball action later today. And that would be Cleveland Heights at Lorraine, Oberlin at Keystone, Oberlin at Brookside, Keystone at Clearview. Firelands taking on Columbia. And in the Southwestern Conference, we've
got Elyria at Avon. That's a 12:30 tip. And we've got Amherst at Midview. That's a 12:30 tip. That's on WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page. We'll actually talk to Coach Zavar and Coach McNamara. They'll join us together in this morning's show. And then elsewhere in the North Coast Conference, we've got Elyria Catholic at Holy Name. Good luck to Coach Rothgary and his Panther ladies this afternoon. That's a 1 o'clock tip. And then non-conference-wise, Open Doors hosting Central Christian Kidron today. That's a 1 o'clock tip. And First Baptist is hosting Christian Community. That's an 11:30 tip.
Boys basketball later this evening. It's Vermilion making the trip over to Edison. Central Christian Kidron will be at Open Door this afternoon, a 4 o'clock tip. Buckeye battling Keystone. We'll get Jeff's thoughts on that game, preview that one. That's always a good matchup left over from the old Patriot Athletic Conference. And Christian Community will be at First Baptist. That one tips off at 1. So that's a look at the scores from last night and scheduled today.
And one other thing, Tom Evans is going to join us, and he'll talk wrestling. And there are a lot of, we had Scott Sedlick from Avon Lake on our halftime show on the girls basketball game on Wednesday night in Avon Lake. And, they're at the Maumee Bay duels or the tournament today. There's a lot of great wrestling going on this weekend too, and Tom's going to catch us up on that.
It's good to catch up with him on Wednesday night. Had no idea how successful that program has been.
74-5 in dual meets since their rough start. When he first took over, they were 1-11. The next year, I think he said they were 3-8 in duels, and then 74-5.
Yeah, you talk about just changing the narrative, and just that's on display over there. And it was good to catch up with him. His daughter was there, kind of celebrating, what was going on at Avon Lake that evening. It was a big crowd for a girls' game on a midweek. I thought that was a really good showing by both communities.
Well, it was the perfect game to have a weather game.
Right.
I mean, because Avon and Avon Lake are literally 8 minutes down the street from each other in Route 83. I mean, so it was, if you're going to have a weather night like you had last Wednesday night,
your fan bases are close.
That was the game.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. We're going to take a quick time out. On the other side of the break, Jason Smith with the Elyria Catholic Panthers catches up with us, and he's in the waiting room, so we'll get him on in just a moment. Stick around. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, streaming online at WEOL.com and that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
We welcome you back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz, and joining us right now, the head coach of the Elyria Catholic Panthers, and it's Jason Smith, looking resplendent in his Panthers sweatshirt this morning. Jason, good morning. Welcome to the program. You guys get a nice win at home against Benedictine last night, and you guys are playing some pretty good basketball, minus a buzzer beater against Padua just not that long ago. You'd be in a really, really good stretch where not a lot of opposition that gave you some trouble.
Yeah, we're That one still keeps me up at night.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't want
to bring that up.
Probably shouldn't have led with that, but it just
Thanks for starting with that one, guys.
Yeah.
No,
Jason's
it's tough though. I
face
mean, you
went
know,
from happy to
our conference is so tough, and our schedule, you know, we're 3-3 in the conference right now, and you know, to lose to Padua that way, such a good team, and NDCL by a point earlier on in the season as well. So we should easily only have one loss in the conference. You know, so just it was good to see our guys bounce back from that Padua loss. You know, they could have easily folded and you know, still been heartbroken from it, but they were determined last night, and not being able to practice the night before because of the snowstorm and everything else. I didn't know what to expect coming in. So to see them be able to play like they did, I was so proud of how they showed up.
And, you know, when you reference, you know, what's going on with your program, again, in conference, you mentioned it's a battle all the time, but there's also the situation that presents itself where you've taken these guys on the road and tested them out of the county, you know, different bus rides and variable situations. That's got to prepare you for a tough conference slog.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, our conference, there's nobody really close to us. So, you know, we got NDCL next week, and it's about an hour 15, hour 20-minute drive. So, you know, we're used to being on the bus, and before last night, we had 6 straight away games. And they weren't close. So it's good to get that battle tested mentality kind of going into it. And, you know, they're responding really well to a lot of challenges. And we try to bring a lot of adversity to practice so that they're ready for it in game. And, you know, I feel like we're in a good spot right now.
Jason, January 17th. So, I mean, we're more through January than at the beginning. So February is right around the corner. And when February comes, I think most of you as coaches start to look at your team and think, are we tournament ready? And, you know, how do you look at the Panthers right now on January 17th in that focus? And maybe you're not looking at it that way just yet, but where are you at coach-wise with how your team is?
Well, I'm confident because, you know, a big part of why we built the schedule the way we did is because you don't know who you're going to play in the tournament. And we've played everything from fast-paced, athletic, you know, run and gun style offense and defenses to slow it down, set after set after set, knock down 3-point shooting teams. So we've seen it all. We've seen it all from, you know, size to strong guards. So I feel confident with whoever we're going to play that we're going to be able to compete against them in the tournament.
When you think about your point total last night, Jason, 89, you know, Ron and I always look at the scores and be like, wow, who scored the most in the county? And it was you guys. That's not necessarily an explosion for you, but tell us about how you got to that number. It seems pretty well-rounded when you think about contributors.
Yeah, I mean, we had 6 guys in double digits last night. We're just an all-around team, you know. We're led by, you know, Matisse Williams and Jazir Terry and Purvey Smallwood, but you know, any one of these guys can score, and that's the way our offense is built. And you know, we seem to do really well and score a lot of points. Obviously, every team wants to score every possession and drive it up, but you know, when we play teams that like to press us a lot and pick us up full court, we do extremely well. And that's probably one of the biggest strengths of our team is the ability to beat that press and to be patient in that full court. And we'll take 3-on-2 and 2-on-1 breaks all day long. I feel so strong about our guys' ability to finish in those situations. So the games that we've really scored a lot of points, it's been against teams that have decided to go full court press against us. So
you get a lot of those, Jason, in transition, but obviously there's sharing of the basketball. If you've got 6 guys who score in double figures.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this team knows how to play together, and they play so unselfishly. You know, there's not one guy on the team who's just out to get his and fill up the stats and you know, be the guy to get interviewed after every game. So it's a great team of you know, contributors. And we got guys like, you know, Kingston Daniels and Donnie Shumpert, who won player of the game yesterday, who know how to get open. They feed off of those drives by our main ball handlers. You know, Dominique Stamper last night, I can't even count how many assists he had yet because it was left and right. He was getting into the paint and finding guys all over the place. And, you know, our team feeds off of that. You know, we feed off of each other and we don't rely on just one guy and to just go one-on-one all game. And when we start moving the ball and we get moving and flowing our offense, that's when we succeed.
Jason, you brought up our guys know how to get open. And that led me to this thought. Do you work on movement without the ball? Meaning, you know, do you work in practice on movement without the ball? You're not the guy who's got the ball, who's dribbling, but, you know, you're moving to get open. Obviously, there are set plays, but I mean, just, you know, not standing around watching the paint dry, so to speak.
Every day. that is a core of our offense since day one, is learning how to move without the ball. You know, all these kids now, they train with the ball, all their individual training they do. And, you know, even a lot of AAU, it's on ball skills. And I think what's missing in the game right now is a lot of off ball skills. And so we made that a priority at the beginning of this season, is to learn how to move without the ball. And if anybody is standing at any point in time just watching, we're going to have a talk, you know. So there's always movement. There's always something to be doing on the court, just because, you know, we try to teach the guys too, just because you don't have the ball doesn't mean you can't score. And being the one to pass the ball creates the shot for you, to be honest, because you're moving and you can leave your defender and get a knife cut for an open layup. So we really focus in on that.
And I guess what I would say, combined with that, maybe, you know, Ron mentioned we're halfway through January. We're basically halfway through your schedule, maybe a little more, a little less, depending on if there was a makeup game somewhere in there. But, you know, for you and your guys, you know, what's the difference right now this year from last year? Most of your personnel is the same, but they've just have they grown into your system?
Yeah, and we've been able to put in a much stronger system for them too, that fits their needs. And kind of like we were talking about, that off-ball movement. You know, we started to see a little bit at the end of last year, and we had some success with it. But earlier into last season, it was just too much one-on-one. It was just too much pounding the ball in one spot, no movement whatsoever. So we really focused on that in the summer and you know, first half of the season, and it's working really well for us.
And when you think about, you know, what's working for you, and again, you mentioned, you know, you're in a grind of a conference, and you know, you like where you're at, your poise, but you know, what has to happen in this second half? And I know that's a generic term, the second half of your conference, but for you guys to have success and dictate the pace of what you want to be able to do at Elyria Catholic.
Yeah, I think, you know, our focus has got to be much better on the defensive side, you know, especially against these teams coming up. Every team in our conference right now is going to be completely different. You know, NDCL has this post, a massive, you know, 6'5", 6'6", strong as an ox, but he can handle the ball and he takes it up top. And that's completely different than how Padua handles it. And it's completely different how CVCA. So we've got to, you know, make sure our core defensive principles are really locked in and we're not falling asleep on D. You know, our offense, I feel really strong with where we're at. Our defense is that next step. You know, we've got to make sure that, you know, for us, we're not a team that's going to do a ton of run and jump pressing. So the turnovers in our mind are contested 3-pointers from guys who aren't shooters. So if we can force teams into bad shots like that, get one rebound and go, that's a turnover to me. So we've got to really do a good job of that in the next few games.
Jason, every coach has a different approach to how they think that they can win basketball games, and that is what their signature of their programs become. And you mentioned defense. A lot of guys think that defense is the way that you win in late February, you know, when the tournaments start. You know, some people just want to put up as many shots as they can because they think if we score more than you do, we're going to win. So let's win 89-82. Where are you? Where are you as a coach? Would you like to be able to do both, or can you not do both? Do you really have to commit to one way or another?
No, I don't think you can commit. I think the teams that are isolated to one style like that can get exposed in the tournaments. I think you've got to play, if you're going to be successful and go deep, you've got to be able to do it on both ends of the court. And for us, our best offense is our defense. That's what leads to our transition. That's what leads us to scoring a lot of points. So for us, it's, you know, it's defense first, get the rebound and go and try to score. If it's not there, then we've got to get into our normal flow of the offense. So, you know, I'm a proponent of both. I'm from the Bob Walsh School of Teaching. So, you know, it's, you know, he was always a defensive first minded coach. And it's not saying that we're just going to, you know, get a stop and then hold it for 2 minutes and have a long offensive possession. No, it's not what we're going to do. We're going to push. We're going to continuously push, but it starts on the defensive end.
Well, his teachings are still present with a lot of guys that we have conversations with. So it's good to hear you bring that up, Coach. And best of luck against NDCL. And sorry we brought up the Padua game. That was worth mentioning just because of the finish that it was. And more along the lines of we want to preview that rematch when it's at your place. So, you know, that's something we want to think about too and put that on everybody's radar.
Yeah, it's a great game, man. We're on the wrong side of it, but that could have gone the other way very easily. So excited to have you guys.
Your place.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And
Thank you, Jason.
We will catch up with you as the season rolls along. Appreciate your time this morning. And that's Jason Smith with the Elyria Catholic Panthers. And coming off of a win over Benedictine last night by a score of 89-76.
Track meet.
Track meet.
Those are fun to call.
That's what you,
As a broadcaster, I love calling track meets. I mean, it's you never get to breathe, and that's the beauty of basketball. It's up and down, up and down.
quick timeout. On the other side of the break, Chris Delicio's on deck with Olmsted Falls. We're going to get his thoughts on his team's victory over North Ridgeville last night. Stick around. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, streaming online at WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorraine Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
And we welcome you back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz. Joining us now is Chris Delicio with the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. Chris, good morning. We can see you. Hopefully we can hear you loud and clear and you can hear us.
Good morning, guys. How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, everything's all good. Excellent. So you guys take care of business last night against Ridgeville, 63-49. Want to get to that game, certainly, but what it does for us selfishly, Chris, it sets up a giant matchup on Tuesday over at Elyria, and we're really looking forward to that. Elyria looked very, very impressive last night, knocking off Avon. And, Rob and I were talking during the broadcast. One of those teams was going to have 3 losses in conference at the end of that night, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we just looking at the slate of teams, you're just like everybody's good, and there's going to be teams in the middle of the pack that, go into the tournament. And I think there's, maybe teams that don't know, our conference or whatever might look at them and, go, that's a 4th or 5th place team. And, they're going to have their hands full, because we've just got a lot of really good teams and players.
Chris, 2 years ago, I did the Olmsted Falls Elyria game at Elyria High. And I remember that year and that night, you and your program were kind of in a transition, stage, if I'm remembering correctly. Younger guys playing, you're trying to, rebuild, so to speak. And you played Elyria really tough that night. And that, Brett Larrick's teams have been good for a while. How has that time transitioned into this time? And were there young men on the court that night that are key players for you now this year with all the success that you're having?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously those years when you're having to play young guys and have them exposed to those types of situations, those environments, those types of really well-coached teams, that stuff's only going to help you in the future. And, when they can get a little confidence to go to an Elyria and play well, and even coming out on the losing end, obviously I think they're going to walk away from that with that little bit of confidence, and that's what you build upon to, move forward to try to get past those, those tougher years playing those young guys. And yeah, we certainly got a few of those guys on the court for us still.
Who's playing well for you right now?
I think a lot of our guys are doing a lot of dirty work, kind of behind the scenes. Chris Ten's doing a great job on the offensive end for us. He's really stepped up his game this year. Obviously, Mason Saravec's kind of a steady force for us, and Logan Conley as well, just having him, to have the ball in his hands all the time. For me, he's a 4-year starter for us, basically. And, he's just kind of a calming sense for us out there. But then guys like Keegan Smith, a sophomore for us, getting his first taste of varsity action. He's kind of coming along and making that sophomore jump this year and figuring out what he can do. Keegan's really doing a lot of the dirty work for us, rebounding the basketball, the things that you need to do if you want to win basketball games. So, I think we have, each of our guys kind of playing their roles and doing the things they're good at, which is, what's allowing us to have success like last night.
Chris, you mentioned the dirty work guys. I mean, those are guys who, they don't show up in the newspaper on Saturday morning. They don't maybe get talked about in the wrap-up show on Saturday morning, but you brought it up, and I'm glad you did, because as a coach, that you have to have the commitment from those role players in order for the whole, to be successful. How do you celebrate that? I mean, how do you point that out? How do you make sure that those young men know that even though they didn't score, 12 points or they didn't have 18 rebounds, that they played lockdown defense on somebody and created turnovers? And how do you celebrate that? How do you make sure that, that is recognized?
Yeah, I think those are the things you got to point out in film sessions and talk about, in practice when it happens, guys taking charges, guys getting on the floor for loose balls, playing on the defensive end. If you're only talking about scoring, kids are pretty, they're pretty understanding of kind of paying attention to that. So they're going to want to get that recognition just on the scoreboard, like you talked about. But we just try to make it a real point to always talk about and really preach as far as like what the expectation is, and celebrate when those guys do those things. So, it's awesome to see those guys, like the Keegan Smiths of the world, do those things. And, you're not going to win without it.
Chris DeLucia, our guest with the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. Chris, one of the things that I look at from your game last night, and we've seen Ridgeville quite a bit, they've really had it all when you think about, quality guard play, quality guys inside, super athletes. For you to come away with a double-digit win, a lot had to work right for you guys defensively.
Yeah, that's where we really did the job. In the first half, I thought we were okay defensively, but maybe a couple missed assignments. And then in the second half, I thought we really did a good job, especially that third quarter part where we went on a run, to kind of extend that lead. That's where I think we really did a great job, and we turned, those possessions into points, which obviously is going to help when you can get transition buckets off turnovers and things like that. So I thought our guys did a really nice job of, for the most part, of just, trying to sit down in a stance and do the things we talk about.
Is there a guy on Ridgeville? And again, we talked about it. They've got a lot of talent and a lot of athleticism. Is there somebody you guys look at and say, somebody's got to take that defensive assignment? Who's it going to be? And do you identify that earlier in the week, or is it, as practice goes on?
With the way we play, because we switch so much, there's usually not defensive assignments. All our guys are responsible for knowing who they're guarding and what those guys' strengths are. So you got to know the scouting report, and everybody's probably going to have a turn at some point on everybody on the floor. There are times when we're trying to keep some matchups, because of, like a Cole Miller's a really difficult matchup for, if we get a guard switched onto him. So, yeah, there are certain things we're trying to do. But, I think throughout the week as we prepare for Ridgeville, we just really try to make sure we know what their players are good at. And we didn't do a great job on Luke Rowe last night early in the half. So even though we talked about it, he got loose, but that's what really good players do. So, so we did a much better job, like I said, in the second half of that.
Chris, Jared brought up you got Elyria, on a Tuesday, and then I looked at your schedule. You go Elyria, Avon, and Amherst in a row. 3, boom, boom, boom. Isn't that fun, though, too? I mean, to be involved in games like that in your conference and have them just go bam, bam, bam.
It is. I mean, it is really fun. I mean, it's to go out every night, it seems like a really, great atmosphere in the conference, and we have really passionate teams and fans and things like that. So, we're not going to many empty gyms, and you're not getting 40-point blowouts and things like that. You got to come to play every night, but it is fun and it's challenging. And it is an enjoyable way to play high school basketball for sure.
It is, yeah.
Elyria was really impressive last night, and I know that you'll get to work on preparing for them soon, but just off the bat, kind of similar to Original, they've got it all at every different level. There's no real weaknesses in terms of what they can throw at you. And they got 2 guys off the bench, Chris, that are in double figures. So there's punch when things aren't necessarily going well with that starting group. Brett does a good job. Watching you guys lock up is always one of our privileges every year, because we just think that that's one of the premier matchups in our area in terms of guys that have been at it for a while, know each other. And let's face it, nobody wants to go out of that gymnasium on the short end of it. So how do you look at them when you think about Tuesday night?
Yeah, I mean, exactly like you said, just guys everywhere that can really play, and super talented. Obviously, Brett does such a great job with them. So, when you're going into that game, you just know, like I said with Ridgeville, you got to know their guys, and and that doesn't necessarily help you always, because you still got to be able to play, so they just run so many guys at you, and they do a great job on the defensive end. So we just have to be well prepared, and we have to, obviously reference our first game against them, but I'm sure Elyria will make some adjustments, and we'll try to do the same thing. But at the end of the day, the players are going to go out there, and I'm sure both teams are going to give great effort, and, just have to see what happens.
Chris, we thank you for spending time with us this morning. And before Jared and I say goodbye, I just got one question. Is that a picture of Augusta National behind you on the wall?
You know that it is. Yeah. You always got to keep the vision in sight, So,
how's your game?
Non-existent right now, because I'm looking outside, and then, it's still snowing. So, but yeah, I do enjoy the golf course, and those are some things I think about in the winter time. Like, at some point I'll be back out there.
Hey, PGA came back this weekend over in Hawaii, so that's how you kind of know football season's winding down, and it's officially the start of what you want to talk about. When Ron and I said get in the house and watch some hoops, you can watch some hoops and you watch some golf on Sundays. So kind of that lazy Sunday still in effect, just not with the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Right on, man. Great to catch up with you this morning, Chris, and certainly looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday night over at Elyria. That's one that we had circled way before we even came up with formulating the rest of our schedule. So I'm sure that's going to be an entertaining game for both fan bases.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, Chris.
Our
Have
pleasure.
a great day.
That's Chris Delisio with the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. And again, great win last night in terms of taking care of Ridgeville. But, the task is tall now against Elyria Tuesday night over at Elyria, the Pioneer Gym. That's a tough place for anybody to play. They've had some great battles as Olmsted Falls over the year. I love how you referenced it last year, that was one that went back and forth. And just every year it seems like that's one that gets better and better and lives up to the billing.
It's fun in the Southwestern Conference right now, both on, and I don't want to maybe just isolate them, because it's certainly the same in the Lorain County Conference, both on the boys and the girls side. If you look at both of those conferences, which dominate our county, if you look at, the Southwestern Conference on the boys side, we mentioned Avon, we mentioned Amherst, we mentioned Olmsted Falls, Elyria, of course, Berea Mid-Park. And then you flip it to the girls side, you can almost say the same thing.
Right.
And then if you go to the LC8, boom, Keystone, both sides. Columbia, both sides. Firelands, we're going to talk to Firelands coach Colin Myers coming up. Brookside with Babbicks, Larry's coming up too. It's really good in the wintertime here in Lorain County for competitive games, nice crowds, and just fun for us as broadcasters.
Sure thing. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, we're going to switch gears a little bit, still keep it with hoops. Rick Medvets is going to join us, and he's going to talk about a pretty special initiative going on with the Elyria Parks and Rec tomorrow over at Elyria Catholic. And stick around on the other side of the break. We will get his thoughts on that. He'll tell you a little bit more about what's going on with that initiative. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. It's Jared Kozar along with Ron Yance. We're streaming online at WEOL.com and on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Janssen. We're going to invite our friend Rick Medvets to join us now. And Rick's sort of getting ready to get up and get out as he's got some basketball duties this morning. But Rick's part of a really special initiative with Elyria Parks and Rec that he's going to tell us about. And it's getting underway at Elyria Catholic tomorrow. And it's a free throw shooting contest for the youth. Talk us through a little bit about this event, Rick.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on again. Knights of Columbus, number 774 in Elyria, really appreciates it. Last year, this is the second year that I'm in kind of working the foul shot contest, and the event starts this Sunday, 5:30 at the Elyria Catholic Gymnasium. It's open to all kids in the community, and that includes the Elyria area as well as LaGrange and even some of the smaller townships. Ages 9 to 14 for both boys and girls. Foul shot contest.
Rick, why was this started? What was the genesis, the seed idea for doing this type of event?
Sorry, Ron, I couldn't hear that.
Why did you start the event? What was the reason for doing this?
Yes, this has been an ongoing event that the Knights of Columbus has done for many years. It's just not been widely publicized. There's other foul shot contests in our community, but the Knights wanted to elevate it. And myself, as part of the community outreach program, thought it would just be better to get some advertisement out there, like guys like yourself, Rob Polinsky for setting it up, and just getting it out more to the community and get more kids involved. It's a big thing because not everybody gets a chance to compete in contests. So I think it's important to do that.
As a proud dues-paying member of 774 myself, Rick, I certainly support it. I don't do as much as you do as far as being out there in the community with the Knights. Certainly, your work with them speaks volumes about your civic patronage and duty. Ron and I are really impressed that you can get Rob Polinsky out anywhere on a Sunday. So you've done something that very few people have managed to do, but it's for a good cause. And like you said, it's awareness. And, you're looking to, expand this program to the point where, you had 25-ish kids go through last year. And that number is certainly expected to grow with tomorrow's event.
Yes, it is. I want to thank Brett Larrick for allowing us to put the information on his Facebook page for the Pioneers. I know Elyria Catholic has published some things at St. Jude and St. Mary, and the local Eastern Heights School in Elyria has also published our events. So hopefully we'll have a better turnout, weather permitting, but we're looking forward to it. And we'll maybe get some, kids from the CYO game, because I know CYO is a big thing at Elyria Catholic and the community.
Rick, let us know the rules of engagement, so to speak. I know it's a free throw shooting contest, but you have a mix of ages, from very, very young to teenagers. Does everybody shoot from 15 feet? Do you get 5 shots? Do you get 10 shots? How does it work? Okay,
the way it works, and I had to double check the rules, trying to stay up on it because the district is usually there and they're real strict about it. It's a contest, it's for fun, but there are multiple levels. This is the council level. Then you can go to the state and then the regional and even on to the international level. But the contest goes for boys and girls. 9 to 11 will shoot from the 12-foot line, and 12, 13, and 14 boys and girls will shoot from the 15-foot line. They shoot 3 warm-up shots to get going. Obviously, in the gym, they'll be warming up. But once we get started, they get 3 warm-up shots, and then they shoot 15 shots at one time.
And is it one round? So you get one look at 15 shots, and if you make 13 of the 15 and you're the top shooter, does one person advance to the next level? Or
yes, one person at each level advances, and they'll go on to the state foul shot contest, which will be probably at Elyria Catholic again, but not until February. So the district will run that.
In the history of this, have you ever had an Elyria kid, boy or girl, advance to one of those international levels or state levels or national levels? Has there ever been a Lorain County and an Illyrian who has advanced to some pretty top levels?
Not to my knowledge at the international level. I know Rob Polinsky has advanced to the state level because
Polinsky?
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, he hit 15 out of 20. At least that's his story. So he went to the state.
Yeah, he did this years ago when he was in Norwalk. Yeah, this actually happened.
Yeah, but last year we had a couple of girls from the Bendick family. Jason Bendick, his daughters advanced to the state level, and they were real close to winning the state. I think they were runner-ups, so they're looking forward to do better. So I think we have some talent out there. hopefully my grandson who's going to be in there, and a few other kids that family and friends will be there, and hopefully they'll get a chance to advance.
Rick, before we let you go, we know you're up against it. Tell us about your morning, because you've got basketball on the brain tomorrow, but you certainly have it on the brain in about 20 minutes as well.
Yeah, I'm a volunteer coach for the Elyria Park and Rec at East Rec here. We have a team that 10, 11, and 12-year-old boys and girls. It's co-ed, and I do it every year, and my grandson's playing, but it's a nice mix of kids. For some of the kids that aren't playing the JO, the AAU, that type of stuff, but it gets competitive, and it's kind of fun. We're hoping to do well today. I have 10 kids on the team, and they usually all show up. My daughter Jackie helps me out, but again, she's at the volleyball tournament with my two granddaughters playing down in the Columbus at the Nike 2026 Classic. So we've got them all over the place. It's a lot of fun, and I just want to shout out to Jim Piazza, the AD at Elyria Catholic, and also Dan Brown, the assistant athletic director, who was really a big help in getting this all confirmed. So, and I appreciate you guys getting us the notability out there. It matters, and it's hopefully we'll get a good turnout, and we expect it, so we'll see how it goes.
It's our pleasure. And you mentioned those guys doing great work at a great facility over there like the Coliseum. Special, I think, for those kids to get out there on that floor, and be able to feel like the big shots at that level.
It has an aura about it. Everybody knows that, so it's pretty awesome.
Certainly. So, well, thanks for taking some time to join us. Good luck in this morning's contest, and best of luck with your event tomorrow. And again, all the fine work you do with the Knights at Columbus, Rick. Certainly, like I said, somebody that's a member there, seeing kind of what you do and how you maximize time, it puts things into perspective of maybe some adjustments that somebody like myself should make.
No, hey, it's a team effort. We have a great board and a great community and guys like yourself. So we get the support, and it's a great community. So hopefully we'll see some of the nights there. There should be a good turnout, and we'll go from there, and it should be a great time. Thank you very much, guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you, and good luck. That's Rick Medveds, and again, with the Knights of Columbus, and a pretty good event, a growing event. So he seems very excited about it, and certainly I think that if you've got some time and you're of that age, at 9 to 14, stop out there tomorrow.
I'm still somewhat speechless
about Polinsky
winning a free throw shooting contest. Did he do it Rick Barry style is what I'd like to know. Was the underhand, two-hand underhand?
I don't think that would be allowed in the Polinsky household. Now think about it. Is it really that hard to believe? We're going to bring Pat Bray in, and we'll get his thoughts on it too. He knows Rob pretty well.
I can't hear you.
Okay, Pat, if you can't hear us, I'm sorry. If you can reconnect, just try it again. We'll
I can't hear you.
Out. Right, we're going to take you out. I'll text you.
It was redo it.
Yep. We'll get you taken care of. So while we get set to reconnect with Pat Bray, what you know about Rob Polinsky? He is dogmatic. Free throws are something that he can excel at.
That's what I said.
It's a repetitive process. It's something that can keep going. He won't have that problem. He can work that. That's what I would think with Rob. So I would buy the fact that could happen for him. We're going to try to reconnect with Pat Bray. Seems like he's getting back online, but yeah, there's my Rob take.
Wow.
If it's the same motion, it's the same repetition. Okay. Rob excels at those type of things.
We'll leave that right there.
that is where he goes. Well, yeah, I mean that can be everything. I mean, I've seen for 20 years, I've seen the same motion at the coffee machine. Right. I've seen the same motion crashing back into that chair right across from us here. So yeah, those are the things that you can depend on for Rob to do. It's no question about it. Pat's got the thumbs up. Pat probably doesn't agree with the Rob Polinsky free throw shooting method, but I'm sure that Pat agrees with his team's success last night against Midview in an 81-66 victory. Pat, you got back on track, and I'm sure it had to feel good.
Yeah, it really did. The first half we struggled a little bit with taking care of the ball. Midview, had a great game plan and was about all the time. When we have more assists than turnovers, we're a pretty good team. When we have more turnovers than assists, we're not very good. And last night we end up with 25 assists and 11 turnovers. So it was a really good second half for us.
Pat, that stat that you just mentioned, assist to turnover ratio. It's something that, I think the general public doesn't look at. They always look at points scored or rebounds. But every coach that I've ever talked to in all the years that I've been doing basketball, that's one of the first things they bring up. Why is the assist to turnover ratio so important?
Well, first of all, when you have a lot of assists, you're sharing the ball, you're playing as a team. But second of all, when you got a lot of assists, that means someone put the ball in the basket too. So, it goes hand in hand. When you have assists, that means someone had to score. And when you have an assist, that means someone had to pass it to them. So when you don't have a lot of assists, it means either you're going one-on-one or we're not doing a very good job of taking care of the ball.
Pat, to go along with that, though, sometimes the talent and athleticism that you guys have and the way that you guys want to speed other opponents up, that can make, sometimes you turn the ball over a little bit more than you might like, and they're not always necessarily horrifying turnovers as much as they are a product of, hey, we got out, we led this guy too far because we believed in our ability to get open, or this was the guy that we had schemed to get open. So is that something that you guys just sort of, when that happens, you look past it and say, live for the next possession?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And you talk about it all the time as a coach. You can't live in the last possession. You got to move forward, and you got to try to make the best of the next one. So, the third quarter was huge for us last night, and we
Nope, I think we lost Coach.
Yeah, I'm here someplace. I just got to find you.
We got you again. We got you at least from an audio standpoint.
We can hear you.
All right, yeah, that's. I'm trying to get you. Shoot.
Pat Bray with the Amherst Comets joining us. His team coming off of an 81-66 victory over Midview. Ron, that's a Midview team that I think if you ask people, they're struggling. Certainly not the result that Jim Bravnick and company I think would want. But when you look at what goes on, they usually have a pretty good game plan and a recipe for that first half. It's making adjustments and things of that nature in the second half that have really kind of plagued them over the course of the season. We're having trouble with Pat Bray trying to connect with him. I think he's going to get back on here. But I think he would share in that sentiment that Midview seems like they've got a really good game plan for almost whoever they take on for that first 16 minutes. It's that maybe it's the horses, maybe it's the game plan, foul trouble, personnel issues that seem to just, kind of take their toll on them in the second half.
It's tough for Midview being the
I can hear you guys again.
Okay, we got
you, Pat. Yeah, we were just commenting, Pat, and I don't know what point you lost us, that Midview is one of those schools that, despite their struggles, seems like they've got a pretty good game plan for that opening half against whoever they play.
Yeah, most definitely. Jim does a great job of preparing them and getting them ready for who they're playing. The young kid inside is a big problem. Trying to guard him. We put Beckler on him for a while. We had Balicki on him, and he was still able. He got us both in foul trouble. And then you have his shooters that ends up having 30 on us last night.
Pat, with your team right now, I mean, it seems rugged. Every week you've got a big game, and we talked about the Southwestern Conference and all those strong teams right there. Do you like where you're at right now?
I wouldn't say I like where we're at, but we still can control. We still got everyone. One more, time. We just finished. Midview was our last go around in the first round, and we're 4-3. So we get everyone again. Berea, we got the first time, but now we got to play them at their place. So so like I said, I don't really like where we're at, but we're still not in a bad position.
So where do you want to improve on?
We've talked about it for the last while now. We want to improve on sharing the ball. We want to be a team that we want to have 18 to 25 assists a night. And when you're sharing the ball like that, then you're getting good shots. There's a couple times last night that we had 4 or 5 passes and it comes around to the backside and we're end up getting layups or a wide open look at the basket. And that's the things we like to see.
Pat, Rob and I were talking last night as we saw Elyria take down Avon. So, again, there you mentioned a team that's 4-3 in conference right there, the Avon Eagles, and they were coming off of a 9-game winning streak at that point. Is it maybe setting up, as you mentioned, that second half that you sort of have around Robin with Elyria, Avon, and Falls? And, again, you can't discount Berea Mid-Park. Certainly they're up there. You've basically got 5 teams that have a real look at it, but you guys all play each other in the next 2 weeks.
And that's the SWC. You know,
Right.
it's we talk about it all the time. There's no easy games. There's no nights off. And then it's always like, if you want to compete for a conference championship, you got to take care of your business, and you got to, get after it every night and put yourself in that position to win every night.
Yeah, tough and tumble for sure as far as that goes. Pat, we want to thank you for taking some time this morning. Certainly good to get in touch with you, and again, getting back on track. I know that was a tough skid at the end there, but maybe that prepares you, as you mentioned, for that second half. Now that you've seen everybody and you've probably taken what you would call their quote-unquote best shot.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about too. Everyone's going to give us their best shot, especially when we were 3-0 in the conference. Everyone's giving us our best shot, and that's what our players found out. We can't take anyone lightly. We can't think that we're good. We got to go out every night and show how good we can be.
Pat, I know you're busy this morning with practice. What I don't want to see from the Brave family this week is any outdoors. I don't need you outdoors. It'd be like -20. Can't have that happening.
Well, the boys are back at college, so yeah, there won't be no outdoors this weekend.
Okay, you take a break and relax, and focus on hoops and have a good week ahead, Pat.
Oh, we will. Thanks so much for having me. You guys do a great job.
Thanks, Pat. Good luck.
So do you.
Thanks
again.
Thank you.
That is Pat Bray with the Amherst Comets. His team with an 81-66 win over Midview. We're going to take a quick time out on the other end. We're going to catch up with Jeff Holzhauer. He's got a lot of news, not just about his basketball team, but other things that are going on in the Keystone community. Chief among them this morning, they introduced a football coach to the parents. We'll get Jeff's thoughts on hoops and a whole lot more on the other side of the break. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz, and we're streaming live at WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Hi, Tim Elthorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. We've helped thousands of people just like you match skills and experience with a career. We can help you train for a career that is in demand right now. You can even work in your field while taking classes. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Yeah, we welcome you back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz momentarily. And right now, we'll get set to bring in Jeff Holzhauer with the Keystone Wildcats. And I saw him get up. I just, really put the boots to you there, Jeff. Sorry. You were going to get up and pour yourself a cup of coffee, I'm sure. And we called you back into the seat a little prematurely. But thanks for taking the time to join us this morning. You guys with a nice win over Oberlin last night, 65-37 to kind of set up things as far as the conference goes in that second half, as we've been referencing kind of all morning long, that everybody's getting their next look at the first half is over with in terms of your conference, and you're on to different things.
Yeah, no doubt. And just like any league, like Pat was talking about in the SWC, the second time around is always tough. And, it's hard to get your kids up for 22 games in a regular season, especially when you're seeing a team a second time when you had nice success against them the first time. But I was happy with the outcome last night. We took care of business, and we're preparing we have Buckeye coming to our place tonight.
Yeah.
So it never stops. It's an old rivalry that us coaches, still have a lot of fond memories of, and a lot of our kids are far enough removed from it that they don't really. A lot of them don't remember the Keystone Buckeye days, but we try to remind them.
Yeah, we referenced that. We were reading scores, so that is a call back to the old Patriot Athletic Conference. And, I remember when Tom Harrington was the coach over at Buckeye, you guys had some prolific battles. And, that was great basketball for that era. And, like you said, hopefully there's some fans in Keystone, maybe not necessarily your current roster, but the fans remember just what a great matchup that was year in and year out.
No doubt.
Tom was not that old. Jeff, you're not that old.
I'm older than I look, Ron.
Jeff, I want to apologize for being late to the interview here. I'm also a short order cook here on the wrap-up show.
You made a sandwich.
And Jared wants scrambled eggs. I like them over easy, so I was doing that. Would you like anything? Could we ship anything out to your office?
I need to start inviting you to our film session. So a lot of times I run and I get donuts. And with IGA closing down, our local grocery store in LaGrange, it's become a little bit more difficult. I got to run out to your old stomping grounds out in Grafton to get my donuts. And I know you want to talk about Coach Fox. He had his parent meeting this morning, so I've been here since 8 o'clock getting ready for that. And he had his parent meeting at 9 o'clock. I didn't get any donuts. I didn't get any breakfast for the boys, so I could use your skills this morning, Ron.
All right, I'll be right over.
Our chief of security is going to join because he wants to talk about your football hire, and he can tell you about all the donuts that you can ever imagine, Coach. We got Tom Evans joining us to talk with Jeff Holzhauer. Tommy, you never disappoint us on that donut run.
No, I was going to ask you if Jans ponied up this morning or not, because I always do the little drive-by and make sure that we have some sustenance to get things going. I'm sorry that you got left hanging. Fox is a skinny guy. You got to look out for those skinny guys. They're not thinking about donuts.
No, he's not. He's Mr. Fitness Guy. So maybe we'll try to get some donuts in him.
We're talking hoops. We're talking football. Again, you bring in Brian Fox, and the announcement made earlier this week. He replaces Don Griswold, who really had done a phenomenal job there at Keystone for so many years, just in different roles, athletic director and then head football coach. Grizz is affectionately one of ours. He really is. We feel like he's family to a certain extent. And again, an early adapter to what we wanted to do here, as far as what Jeff's doing now, showing everybody his office and taking him around the facility. Grizz is LaGrange, I think, when you think about it that way. And I don't know that you could get a better hire to replace a guy like that than a guy like Brian Fox, who's had success at different levels and is going to resonate with that community.
No doubt. Like you said, there's a reason why Brian, who we have a ton of respect for, was interested in this job. And the reason why is because of people like Rob Clerico and Don Griswold, who have really made the program what it is today and make it desirable for a guy like Brian. So that's a credit to the guys before Brian to make this the job that it is. And we were excited once we saw Brian's name, pop up. He's the guy we targeted, and he's the guy we went after. And we wanted to find out, hey, is this something you really want? And after speaking with Brian early on, we were extremely excited to find out that this is exactly what Brian wants. So I think it's a match made in heaven. Going from Rob Clerico to Don Griswold and now Brian Fox. We're really fortunate at Keystone.
Yeah, just when you think you can't bring in anybody that has a greater energy level than Grizz, you turn around with Fox. And, Grizz could light up LaGrange with his energy, and Fox will be right there with it. So that's a great hire by you guys over at Keystone. Looking forward to that.
They're very, very similar. They're very similar humans. They do things for the right reasons. They love building relationships with kids, and that's really what it's all about.
And just the culture, like you mentioned, from Rob Clerico, who was our colleague for a number of years here at WEOL, and then basically you've got a crop of kids, Jeff, that pretty much you're coming up on 20 years of winning football at Keystone and winning athletics just across the board.
Yeah, no doubt. So we've had a nice run, and that's a credit to our parents and our families. I mean, you can't be successful in high school sports without buy-in from parents and kids, and that's where it starts. So you need to have good direction with the school, but then you need that buy-in with the kids and parents, and we've been fortunate at Keystone to have that.
Jeff, speaking of that, how I know that you introduced the coach to the parents this morning. Take us in the room. Was it in the gymnasium? Was it in the football locker room, the weight room? Were there lots of people there? Just a handful? How did it all go?
No, we used our study hall room, which I counted the chairs. I think we had about 75 chairs in there, so we thought it would be big enough, and it was full, and we had some people standing. So we had a good turnout. We had a good turnout for Saturday morning at 9:00. So
Right.
we were. I haven't had a chance to talk to Brian. He's still in there talking to parents as they're kind of mingling out of the room. And we're heading in there to watch film when they clear out and I'm done with you guys. So Brian gave his spiel, and it's a good spiel. Like it's all good stuff, and I'm glad he got a chance to get in front of the kids and get in front of the parents so he can get his thing going here at Keystone. We're excited about it.
And from our standpoint, shout out to Rocco Nushi here at WEOL.com. He was able to get a conversation on with Coach Fox on Wednesday. Hey, Coach, if you check it out on the website, it was a really good 15-ish minute conversation with Brian about, kind of where it stands and what his goals are. So I encourage you to check out Rocco's content. Jeff, last night when we look at the box score, there was a Holzhauer that knocked down 22 points. Got to ask, has that ever been the case before in that Keystone box score that a Holzhauer has had 22?
We had 25 against Oberlin earlier this year, but
well, you're right.
He's the only Holzhauer scoring in the 20 points. So his old man did not shoot the ball like he does. So he's doing great. He had 6 threes last night, and he had 7 over at third place earlier this year. So I'm sure Kurt doesn't really want to see him again. So he's had some success against Oberlin this year. So it's fun. Great as a coach, but that's just fun as a dad too.
Right.
To see your son go out there and see his mom in the crowd and his grandparents in the crowd and supporting him the way that he gets supported in this town. So it's really cool.
Jeff, this has been building, and I'm not just talking about your son scoring points in a basketball game, but that class. And I remember several years ago, you telling me, there's a class coming, and your son happens to be in it, and you have been a part of those, those kids' their development for a couple of years now. It has arrived, hasn't it?
It has, and I've been fortunate to work with that group and Andy Gibson, who's an administrator out at Western Reserve. He's a dad, and he's kind of carried the load as far as the Keystone youth season goes with that group. And I kind of, sit back and help them out. And then I coach that same group in AAU basketball, a few individuals from that team, along with some other really nice players in the area. And we've had a lot of fun with that sophomore class. The Keystone kids, the kids we're competing against around Northeast Ohio. It's been great. And us dads that have been a part of it, we just enjoy it. We enjoy every second of it. We enjoy, keeping tabs with the other kids that this group has grown up with. And that makes coaching youth sports and watching these kids develop into high school athletes. It makes it a lot of fun.
Jeff, the task at hand now turns to Buckeye. What concerns you about the Bucks? And, coming off of a game last night, what do you guys have to do to prepare?
Well, we came off a nice game, and I was thinking that Rocky River might wear them out last night, and Buckeye took it to them, so they pulled away late. And I know Rocky River's had a real nice year, and Buckeye's had a nice year. Buckeye's got 1 loss in the conference. They had some tough non-conference early on. It's a quality opponent. They're big and they're strong. We have in our place, so I know some of our fans are upset that they don't get to go over to Loggerheads and get their wings tonight. It's the one thing we like about Buckeye. We don't like a whole lot of things. We have a ton of respect for their program, their coaching staff. But it's been, like we talked about, it's been a rivalry over the years. But my buddies love going over there and getting some Loggerheads before the game.
Jeff, one of my favorite places. And Jeff, I'm going to ask you this. That's a they're a physical bunch. Do you do something different? I mean, when you go down, you're gonna walk away with some bruises anytime you take on the Buckeye Bucks in any sport. So is that a different mindset to get your kids ready to play a game that's going to be really ramped up physically?
Yeah, we've played in some physical games this year, and our kids have been able to step up to that challenge. And this is not one of my more physical basketball teams, but we can play physical when we need to, and we're going to have to tonight because Buckeye's going to come after us, and we're going to try to use our athleticism to kind of negate that physicality a little bit. But we're going to watch some film this morning, and they guard well. They guard well, but they have some bigger kids that I hope our smaller guys can be able to get around and have some success against.
Could be an Emory Fedor game. I think this is what you got to translate there for our folks that are watching and listening. Before I let you go, Jeff, I'm going to get Tom Evans. We're going to call this the administrator's accent here. If you got anything for Jeff in terms of just the ins and outs of being an athletic director and a head coach at the same time, and in this portion of the calendar, Tom, you certainly have endured some of that over the course of your career.
Well, yeah, and Jeff knows that, you're looking at snow days, and I can almost sense the panic that went in on Wednesday night, because while the kids are sitting praying for snow days, Jeff's saying, no, we got to get in because I don't want to reschedule stuff, and we at least got to get a shoot around. We got to play on Friday night. So, these are, while the kids are home and they got their wishes on and their pajamas on backwards and all the rest of that nonsense that they do from the athletic standpoint, it's some harrowing times, especially when you're heading into the weekend. You got teams on the road and travel and that kind of stuff. And Jeff, I think, knows well those headaches that brings on.
Yeah, no doubt. We get a snow day and everyone's home, and the athletic director is the only one in the building, and I'm here at 7:30 trying to figure out transportation, cancellations, rescheduling, and then trying to figure out when my basketball team's going to get in the gym to shoot. So
that's always where donuts came into play for me, because I would call the maintenance staff, and they know that I'd have about 4 dozen donuts for them if they would just come in and plow the parking lots early so we could get teams in to get a practice in. There was always some payola going on to get that done.
Yeah, we have a great head of maintenance, Buddy Trigo, out here, and that's always it. A lot of people don't realize, hey, it's cleared up. Well, the wind's still blowing, and we can't keep the parking lots clear right now. So no, you can't come in yet. A lot of people don't realize that. It takes a lot to get everything plowed, get everything set up for the kids to come in and be safe. So there's a lot that goes into every decision we make, and as Tom knows.
Yeah, unsung heroes of successful operations for sure. Jeff, thanks for taking the time. I know we went a little bit over with you, but great win last night. All the luck in the world against Buckeye tonight. You and I used to have a familiar term. Jeff, you got to get those guys. Jeff, you got to get those guys tonight.
Yeah, we do. We'll come after them. It'll be like old times. I'll miss seeing Tom across the way. We always had some battles, and as we always said, man, we always made each other better. And I miss coaching against Tom. Jeremy does a great job over there right now, though, and I expect a battle. Looking forward to it.
Always. Thanks for joining us today, and congratulations on your hire to lead that football program. It's a big week over in LaGrange.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited about you guys covering us so well all the time, and hope to see you again soon, guys.
Thanks, Jeff. Have a great day.
Catch up with you shortly. Good luck. Jeff Holzhauer with the Keystone Wildcats, and that segues right into our wrestling segment. You talk about physicality, you talk about donuts, you talk about knowing the ins and outs of all those restaurants that Tom Evans can get things at for us and, keep us well fed and prepared. Tom, good morning. Thanks for being patient. And thanks for that crosstalk with Jeff, because I think that, you know exactly what it's like to bring in a football coach that replaces kind of a local legend in the form of Grizz and Rob Clerico, as you mentioned before that. That's the thing. That has not been anything close to a revolving door over at Keystone. That's been a stable position for 20 years now.
Well, and those are, and I know that's one where I'm sure Jeff said they targeted Brian, because you want about, you're following the guy, okay? We talk about following the guy, and Grizz is the guy over at LaGrange, over at Keystone, and the culture in that community and the expectations. That was a tough role to fill, and you couldn't do it with just anybody. I think Brian Fox is a great hire for them, and I just. I think that they're in a really good place over at Keystone High School right now.
Tom Evans joining us, our wrestling guru and head of WEOL.com security. Tom, tell us about what's going on Mats-wise throughout this week and the weekend, of course.
Well, I got to get back to the whole Rob Polinsky free throw shooting thing. Because, Jans went the Rick Barry route. I'm going the Andy Reid punt, pass, and kick route. That's the vision that jumped into my head with Rob shooting free throws.
I like that.
So I went a whole different route with that one. I didn't see the two-handed underhand shot. I saw Andy Reid at punt, pass, and kick when I'm thinking about Rob at the free throw line. That's all. But
I mean, it's form more than anything, and Rob has great form. Like I said, form going over that coffee machine, form crashing back into that chair, form grabbing the remote. I mean, if you've seen it, he perfects it.
Absolutely. No, wrestling hot and heavy these last couple of weeks. We're getting to that point, and this weekend for me was always the weekend as a coach that we were this was the start of the postseason run for us. This is when I wanted to see our kids really starting to hit on all 8 cylinders. And there's a lot of tournaments out there that get that done. The D's tournament in Akron, the Top Gun over in Alliance, the Maumee Bay tournament has become a huge tournament. Right. So I think a lot of schools right now are getting their kids to make that postseason run right now. This is when you gear it up. You found out a lot about them in December, beginning of January, some of those Christmas tournaments. Now when you say, let's sharpen that steel right now to get ready to make the run.
Tom, when I was in high school and as a wrestler at Midview, and that's 1983, class of '83, you got weight in January. You got extra pounds, and I know things have changed, but are these young men still getting a couple of pounds here in January to finish out their season?
Yeah, they got their Christmas gift. So down at Medina, for the weigh-ins there, they had the 2+ pounds. But with the way things are today, with the they all have to be weight certified. So at some point in time, they had to make their scratch weight. And now everybody gets tested, and there's the state tells them how quickly they can lose that weight and when they can be at their optimum weight. So it's really highly regulated now, and it's even getting more and more regulated just by some of the computer technology that's taken place in the sport of wrestling. Because the weight cutting is probably one of the worst things about our sport, because some of the things that have happened through the weight cutting. And as a coach, I was a big believer in getting stronger. We lifted 3 times a week the entire season, and we would get to the sectional tournament, and very oftentimes those kids that were cutting weight were having a hard time keeping that weight, where we were physically stronger at the end of the year, and we beat a whole lot of people in the sectionals that had beaten us during the regular season simply on physical strength and conditioning, and we were healthy at that time. Our kids weren't doing that seesaw with the weight where they were coming in 5 and 6 pounds over on a Monday and then sucking down that weight to the next weekend.
Yeah, that was the basis for my question, to build into exactly what you just led to, Tom, because it is a healthy environment when you get that extra weight. And when, like you said, you're not like, say, for example, you're a 112 pounder like I was when I was a junior at high school. You weigh like 120 on Monday, and you cut 8 pounds to get down to 12 by Saturday morning's weigh-in. That's not a cycle that you want to be in very long. So I'm glad things have changed.
And kids are growing. My first year as a head coach, my 103 pounder qualified for the state tournament. Well, he started the season at about 97 pounds. And by the time we got down to that year was in Cincinnati. We got to Cincinnati. He had 3-pound growth allowance, so it was 106. He was coming down from about 110. He grew about 4 inches during the wrestling season, and it was tough to keep him at 106 for the state tournament. And you really see that in the lighter weights. And I was a big proponent of if you're a good wrestler, get strong and go up. Because sometimes you get in the upper weights, those guys don't want to wrestle; they want to push you around a little bit. And if you're a good wrestler in those upper weight classes, you're really going to dominate some of those weight classes.
Well, Tom, good to catch up with you this morning. And again, thanks for coming on with Jeff and catching the tail end of that and offering some opinions on that. Always good to catch up with you. We like doing it on the Saturday morning sports wrap-up show. Get the wrestling recap and the roundup. You're not on the road today, Tommy, so we're a little bit, you're enjoying the weather?
Well, I am headed on the road here. Cuyahoga Heights has their Athletic Hall of Fame, and I'm the master of ceremonies for that this afternoon. And then off to Columbus. I heard somebody volleyball in Columbus. Well, that's where the granddaughter is right now. I was streaming her game right before I came online with you guys and watching what she was doing down there. So going down to cheer on the granddaughter and some volleyball.
Busy afternoon. Enjoy yourself and be safe. You and Lisa definitely, don't burn up that road on 71 too hard today, Tommy.
Well, believe me, she's down already. She went down last night. Yeah, I've got my list of things that she forgot. I've got the tripod here for the camera that I've got to bring down. So all the rest of that stuff. So.
You probably also have a list of things you're supposed to finish before you guys come back that you better work on right now.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make one final point here. I worked with the best last week in Ron Janssen. We had to crawl into the stands over the case because we had to have the proper backdrop of that mat behind us. And if I've strategically sat myself down here in the bat cave today with the trophy case behind me to make sure that it was the right shot. And I know I didn't want to get criticized by Jans because I don't know of a better picture person out there than Ron Jans. So I had to bring my A game with the setting today.
It's appreciated.
I've already been criticized several times this morning.
We've talked about backdrop for this show already this morning. So, Tom, I appreciate your attention to detail.
Tommy, take care. Thanks for joining us. Always good to catch up with you. Be safe, my friend. That's Tom Evans, our wrestling aficionado and head of security for WEOL.com. Going to transition right now to Coach Colin Myers, Victoria's head coach with the Firelands Falcons. Coach, you guys get back into the win column, and it's been some tough sledding in conference, but you took out some aggression last night with a 53-40 win over Wellington.
Yeah, it was. We needed to start building some momentum, and it's good for morale to finally come out with the win. We've been in some close games lately. Lost the last 2 on buzzer beaters. So again, kids were happy to get a win. We're happy, and we played a good second half.
Colin, one of the things that I really love about this wrap-up show on Saturday mornings in the format that we're in now, where we are not only hearing our coaches but actually seeing our coaches. You guys are all obviously in different environments on Saturday morning. Sometimes you're driving in a car, sometimes you're in the coach's office. Where are you right now? It looks like you're in the concourse in the basement at Quicken Loans Arena after the Cavaliers have practiced. Where exactly are you, Colin?
We're here at the school. We just finished up a practice, and we got our 6th grade youth league here, so I'm in one of the back hallways. Had to get away from the gym and the noise real quick.
Colin, you have said since you took over that program, and I'll quote you and tell me if I'm exactly right. It's either physicality travels or rebounding travels. That's been, that's meaning travels, like go to the away game. We're always physical. We're always going to be a strong inside basketball team. If I'm correct, do you have that this year with your basketball team?
We do. The problem, it's been a little inconsistent though at times. Last night was no different. I think we were down 10 at halftime, I believe, and then kind of woke up in the second half. When you're getting stops and being aggressive on defense and rebounding, at least there's some transition and easy buckets, and you're able to build some momentum. But yeah, when you're getting pushed around, it's kind of hard to find a rhythm or get into your offense or any flow of the game. So if you're the one doing the pushing, it just makes the game come to you a little easier and, easier to build momentum and have the energy.
How will you win from here on out? How will, Firelands build off the win last night and then just, be a team once tournament starts that maybe nobody wants to play right away?
Yeah, we're rotating some bodies now, and we just got to play with some more confidence. And, we're a good basketball team when we have multiple kids scoring double figures. And that happened again last night. It was much balanced. We had, I think, 3 kids in double figures and then 2 or 3 with 8 to 10 points as well. So it makes it much harder to play defense on us when you have multiple kids scoring like that and you're able to score inside and outside.
Sorry. I want to take you back to about 3 weeks ago. We had you over at Vermilion, and anybody that would have seen the second half of that ball game would say, these guys aren't going to lose another game all year long, the way you played against Vermilion. Is that good that you had maybe the highest of the highs there and then fought some adversity and then now can reset where you're at in that second half of your conference?
That's what we're hoping. We thought we were building some momentum there, and we were. I mean, we saw what we're capable of. We have a lot of young guys, too, So that they need to experience, like you said, both ends of that, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, which we've certainly experienced a lot of that. And same thing, we can't rely on these close games to win them all. And last year we won a lot of those close games. The ball bounced our way, and then this year I think we've lost 4 on buzzer beaters or overtime.
It's been very close.
Yeah.
So your opponent last night, Wellington, Jim Baker, first year over there, but certainly no stranger to Lorain County basketball. That's a different Duke basketball program over there, and he's going to get that thing going the right way. What kind of look did they have for you defensively? Because that's, Jim always likes to kind of play in that 40 to 50 range in terms of scoring.
Yeah, they're a much improved Wellington team. They've been playing some good basketball too. I know they beat Oberlin last week in a good game. But yeah, defensively, they're physical and aggressive team as well. And they played quite a bit of zone there, and it took us a while to settle in and start hitting some shots. But once we were able to do that, kind of had to pull them out of it, and they had to be a little more aggressive on defense, which opened up even more for us. So it was good to see some shots start to go in for some of our players finally.
Colin, we can hear the squeak of the sneakers and the whistle and the whistles being blown. How important is where you're at right now, meaning youth basketball happening on a Saturday morning, in that Firelands environment, building that brand, and how important is that whole youth program? Obvious question. The answer is going to be easy, but it's good to hear from a coach the perspective of building from the little ones.
No, it's very important. That's what we were actually just meeting about a little bit ago too. We have the 6th grade playing in here now, and then tomorrow we have the K to 4 grades coming in. So it's very important. We try to have the gym open as many days as possible, every day if possible, to give kids an opportunity. Everybody's got stuff going on all week, so if the gym's open multiple days a week, gives everybody an opportunity to make at least 1 or 2 of the days. And again, the younger they're playing, the more reps they're getting, the more it's going to help us when we get to these older grades.
Colin, thanks for joining us this morning again, coming off of a 53-40 win over Wellington. Like Ron and I said, a lot of those games, and like you acknowledged, you're right there in those conference matchups, and maybe the second half of the season, as you mentioned, you can harness some of that momentum that you had when you guys really did put it all together against a tough Vermilion team on the road to close out 2025. And, like you said, what you can be, and here's hoping you guys have continued success on into 2026 in this second half.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Colin Myers with the Firelands Falcons. We'll take a quick break. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, streaming online at WEOL.com, on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. We're going to talk some girls hoops on our way back. Brittany McNamara Cole with the Midview Middies joining us. They're going to be gracious enough to host us this afternoon. Stick around. It's coming up next.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz. Joining us now, Midview Middies, Lady Middies head coach Brittany McNamara Cole. And Coach, we've got a ball game this afternoon over at your place as you'll be taking on Dave Zavara and the Lady Comets of Amherst. I don't know if she can hear us.
I can't hear you for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, well, we can hear you. If you just want to dial it back in, just turn it off and then turn it back on, it'll work. I think she's got it, maybe.
Brittany, can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't think she'll hear us till she's able to disconnect. I'm going to let her know right now.
she is obviously in her office, dressed in her midi royal blue.
She's going to do it.
A 12:30 tip.
It is a 12:30 tip. We call that the super matinee, right? That's what we've been calling that in the SWC when you get that going. The 12:30, and depending on what time that JV game gets over with. But yeah, Rob Polinsky and I will make our way over there this morning, and we'll get going on that. But definitely want to catch up with Brittany here and get her thoughts on the matchup, as well as a couple things going on in conference and some news from earlier this week that it was pretty important. So we'll effort getting back in touch with her. Meanwhile, let you know that coming up here at 10:30, Larry Babbix with the Brookside Cardinals will join us. 10:40, Brett Larrick of the Elyria Pioneers. He'll take a crack at us as well. And then Faith Williams with the Columbia Lady Raiders program. She'll round things out at 10:50. Brittany, do we have you now?
Yes, you have me now.
We got you now. Great. So wanted to thank you first and foremost for having us out there this afternoon in your game against Amherst. And Ron and I were talking earlier, big news about celebrating career win number 100 earlier this month. And, that makes it even all the more special to get out there and see your ball club today.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's a huge career milestone, and I'm just so excited about it.
Brittany, have you walked outside the gym there at Midview High School? Are you like outside right now?
Yes. We are outside in the snow. We have where my office is. Where my office is, it's not like the best service. So I figured that might be one of the issues.
Well, we should keep this quick so she doesn't freeze because it's, I think, like 20 degrees this morning. So we appreciate
It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad.
That's coach talk right there. It's not that bad.
Rise above the elements.
You're tougher.
Yeah.
So, Coach, as you get prepared today, I know earlier in the week you had Olmsted Falls. Everybody knows what they're about. There's not a whole lot that you can do to prepare for that one, but, maybe things a little bit more back down to earth today with Amherst in what should be a pretty competitive matchup.
Yeah, we're really excited. Yeah, I mean, we've been obviously battling with Falls myself for the last 6 years.
Sure.
So, when you have them, it's kind of like, all right, we have to figure out how to fight through adversity so we can get into these games that, are going to be competitive for us. And if we get down, we know how to fight through that when we've played teams that are just a little bit better than us. So it's, it helps us when we have to get into these games versus Amherst where we beat them by 10 the first time around. So hopefully we can, show our growth and continue to and win this game again.
Brittany, when people think of the girls basketball team at Midview currently, it seems that obviously for good reason they think of Leah DeFranco because it seems like maybe 8 to 10, maybe 12 years that Leah DeFranco has been running your offense. It's only 4. She's a senior. How has coaching her been for you? She has been a starter for you since her freshman year when you guys made that great run.
Yeah.
State level wise.
Yeah, she's just an unbelievable person, first and foremost. What she brings to our culture, what she brings to our team, not just on the court but off, is next level. To have someone like her be a part of the program, another basketball mind that, in the middle of a game where I'm seeing a lot of things and my coaches are seeing a lot of things, but Leah's on the court and I could be like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you want to try this? And she's like, yes, no. She's another coach on the court. And it's exactly what every coach wants and whatever coach needs, I think, to be great. And Leah's part of the reason why I've been able to have such success. And, she's a huge part of Midview basketball, and she will continue to be a huge part of Midview basketball as well.
Brittany, we are, if nothing else, here. In order to make this a little bit more equitable, we wanted to bring on your opponent this afternoon to spend some time with us too, and that's Dave Zavara with the Amherst Comets, and he's going to share the stage with you a little bit.
I love that. Anytime I get to share the stage with Dave, it's the greatest day.
Few can.
Dave, turn your camera on. Although at this point, some people would say you've never looked better.
Don't turn Dave's
than
camera on
right now.
Let Dave make news and comment. Dave, do we have it? Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, wait. I'm going to stay on the bus. I love her, but I'm not going to go outside there and freeze my butt off. I'm too old for that. We are just pulling in now, so I hope she's got breakfast for me.
You know what? I didn't get breakfast myself.
So you guys know each other real well. Just kind of talk about how this coaching relationship has evolved over the years in terms of just familiarity, and then Dave, you taking over that Amherst program and being able to compete once again in the SWC.
So what was the question?
We'll let you go ahead and let it rip.
First of all, as far as coaching goes, I think the whole SWC coaches get along fantastic, and that's what makes it great. Even though, sometimes we get our tails beat, but it's still a pleasure to coach against those people.
Dave, today's matchup looks like it should be a real good one. One of the reasons that WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page is bringing everybody to this matchup. When you look at Midview this year and you look at where your team's at, how do you think today will play out? What's important?
Well, she just mentioned some young lady named DeFranco. We have to be able to control her and don't let her go wild on us because she's a heck of a ball player. So she makes it tough to match up with her. And again, the other girls do a great job. When we played them at our place, it was a good matchup. And at the end, they kind of took over. And Brittany knows this. I'm sure she watched film on us. But right now, our biggest concern is taking care of the basketball.
And Dave, earlier in the interview, we congratulated Brittany on her 100th win. You're still chasing. You're in the 90s right now, correct? So how many more until you get to that 100 plateau that Brittany's at?
No, I got 100 when I was at Avon Lake in 2019.
I was going to say, he's got
We were joking, Dave.
Well, Zavar's got his game mentality going. He doesn't even get the joke. Yeah,
and right now, and Rob, right now I'm going backwards and going 100 the other way.
Well, we'll try not to take that into consideration before they.
Hey, Brittany, please feed this guy because he's a grumpy old man this morning.
I'll find him something at the concession stand.
I'm in the lobby right now. I see Dan May. He's the only AD that works around here, I think.
Yeah, he's got all
The other
answers. He always
AD
does.
was at Amherst last night.
I know. He came to our practice.
So as you guys prepare for this afternoon's matchup, just Brittany, quickly, if you could explain a few things that you've seen take from the last game and just what you know about Dave's team that you need to work on for today and that your week of practice has led up to.
Yeah, Dave's team, they play hard, man. They fight tooth and nail for every ball. Every time they have the ball, they try to do the correct thing. And that's with all the teams he's ever coached. So, he continues to have that hard work mentality. For us, it's just being able to control the boards. If we can control the boards, that's going to be huge for us. We worked on a lot this week of, attacking and kicking, trying to get our shot going. The first time we played them, I think we were down 11-1 in the first quarter. So being able to get a hot start for us would be huge. But controlling the boards, controlling the tempo is like what we need to start gearing up and perfecting on our end.
I think that's great. We should let him go.
Well,
so Brittany can get Dave some food and all can be right in the world again.
Coaches, we will see you guys out there. Rob Polinsky will be waiting with bated breath for a pregame with both of you coming up here in, I would say, about an hour's time, and I'll make my way out there. Thank you for having us and looking forward to catching up with both of you guys later this morning, early afternoon.
And Brittany, go Middies. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Dave, the numbers are not on your side, but we'll see if we can make you feel comfortable when we get there later on.
All right. Good talking to you guys. Brittany, I'll see you a little bit on the floor.
All right. I'll see you a little bit.
Thanks.
All right. Take care. Thanks.
Take care, guys. We'll see you shortly. We're going to transition right now from that to some boys hoops and back in action. We're the Brookside Cardinals last night. Cardinals on a hot streak, and they went on the road to do it over at Columbia as Larry Babix and company took down the Columbia Raiders 66-59. Larry, a homecoming of sorts, but there was business to attend to, and you guys got it done.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to get back out to Columbia. A lot of great memories out there, a lot of friends. But obviously, Josh has got them playing pretty well. I mean, maybe not the record they want, but he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He won't make any excuses for them. They're one of the better defensive teams in our league. He obviously knows what we like to do, was able to take that away from us, most of the night. I mean, they do a good job clogging your driving lanes, getting out to your shooters. We got, pretty good looks that we like. We just couldn't get a lot of them to fall last night. But again, give their guys credit on being able to close out the right way and, affecting our shots. So it was a very good team win, especially on the road, especially over there. That's a tough place to win. And, we're very, very happy and, excited, lucky, whatever you want to say, to get out of there with a win.
Yeah, I was going to say, holding you guys to 66 speaks for itself in terms of what Josh wanted to do. He executed a game plan. In the end, I think he just had too many horses.
Yeah, and again, every night, like we always, we understand, like our league, man, everybody knows you, and again, Josh, it's different because we coached together for so long, and he probably knows us better than anybody, but again, it just goes back to you're always going to get everybody's best shot, and our guys are excited. They don't really care if it's Keystone, Columbia, Black River, Oberlin. They want to play. They get excited. It was a great atmosphere last night. Back and forth. I don't even know what the biggest lead was for either team. Maybe it was 6 or 7 or whatever, but it's just a really, really competitive high school basketball game, and again, all we're trying to do right now is just make sure at the end of the night, we got one more point than our opponent, especially in league play with, what's on the line. So, we're happy. We move on. We, get ready for Vermillion and Oberlin this week.
Larry, I'm wondering specifically, let's go to the gym that you played in last night. And that was a gym that you were the head coach in for, many years. Is that hard for you to play in now, not from an emotional standpoint, from an X and O standpoint, the way that you like to get up and down, put up as many shots as possible when the floor is as confined as it is? And if nobody's ever been in the Columbia High School gym, it's not an 80-foot floor. I think it's like 69 feet or something like that. It's smaller. The top of the key is almost at half court. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not much. So the question is, with a team that likes to run and gun, get up and down, move the floor, is it harder for you to win or to be successful or to play in that type of gymnasium?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we like to be on a big floor the way we play, but I would tell you Josh's personnel, especially this year, they like to get out and run, and they don't have a lot of room either. So, and I think the courts, like, the standard smaller courts are 84. That one, was built so long ago. I think it maybe was 82, something like that, 82 feet. It's a little short. I remember when we were playing Smithville in the tournament, they made a big fuss about it, trying to get our game moved, a tournament game. And I know Mr. Bancic out there, lost his mind and like, we're not moving it, whatever. But there is a rule that the floor has to be 84. And I think it's like 82, but.
So 69 was an exaggeration.
yeah, little. That's a little short, but again, you got to be able to adjust. And the one great thing about Brookside, if you see our facilities here, our junior high gym is literally right across our cafeteria. We walk, 50 feet, and we're in that gym, which is 84 feet. So when we have the ability here to, when we go on the smaller courts, we practice in our junior high gym. And when we're going to Keystone, Firelands, Wellington, the big ones, we stay in the high school gym. So we're able to always keep that fresh in the kid's mind. Like, hey, if you're getting pressed or you're pressing, look at your spacing. Look at your spacing on offense. So it's something as a coach, you have to adjust, because I think half our leagues, big floors, half our leagues, the smaller floors. So, it allows you, I think, to just lean on your guys for a little bit heavier minutes than normal. But again, we like to get out and run, and I would tell you most teams in our league like to get out and run. So, but you just got to be able to adjust and adapt, and I think our guys do a good job of that.
Shout out to Dick Kirschbaum, no longer with us. Years ago, told Tim Alcorn and I, you guys are going to be very, very impressed with our new facilities over at Brookside, we will be able to do everything. And I don't think anybody really believed Dick at the time, because you're thinking, well, I don't know, maybe. And then, when that facility opened, he was absolutely correct. Just one more thing that Dick was able to accomplish before he left this too soon. Sorry to get off on that, but just Larry's right.
No, it's great. I love calling games at Brookside High School. That perch that we have up top is wonderful.
Yeah, top notch for us. Larry, when you mentioned it, everybody in the league knows each other. You're in that second round of the league, so to speak. We talked about it with Jeff earlier. He's loading up again, like he was talking about today. They've got Buckeye coming into town. You do that with, as you mentioned, you got Vermillion this week, and then we'll have your game on Friday against Oberlin. You've got an SWC opponents coming up. Is this an arms race kind of when you think about who's got to prepare better to be in a position to win that conference title at the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to get tested in your non-conference. And, I think, us, Keystone, most of our teams in our league, they try to go out and play, supposedly bigger schools, better schools, whatever, however you want to word that. And you always want to challenge yourself. You can make your non-conference, like I've told you guys many, many times. You can go, you can get it out there and go 8-0. I mean, trust me, there's enough teams that'll play you, and you can go out there and go 2-6. And honestly, that's what we kind of done in the last few years. But I'd rather get, face some adversity in the non-conference, so it gets us ready for the conference and gets us ready for the tournament. And yeah, I mean, we still have Vermillion, we still have Bay Village, we still have Fairview, we still have Amherst. So we got a nice little mix here of, teams that do different things to you, different styles that'll just keep helping us prepare, along this journey. And again, the second time around, in our league. So, we're just excited. We're excited with our schedule. The kids are playing well, they're doing everything we ask. So, they understand what's at stake. You got a 1-game lead. And let's be honest, I mean, you handle your business. I mean, you're sharing it before you even get back over to Keystone. So, but, our kids and Keystone kids love that challenge to play each other. And, obviously me and Jeff are good friends, have nothing but respect for them. But we got to handle whatever we have. I think 4 more games before we even in the conference, before we even get back to Keystone.
Larry, before we let you go, I want to ask you about, the coaching tree that you're starting to develop. You've got young Wechter, who's a freshman basketball coach at Avon Lake High School. Tell me about, how that worked out and how proud you are of what he's, building as a coach.
I mean, you always knew it when you were coaching him. He had a, a great basketball mind. He just kind of knew how to do things naturally. And what we told him, we wanted to get him here. We thought maybe in a junior high we had an opening. But once, Fitch over there where he works at, Bobolink and stuff, Kevin, they had an opening over there at Avon Lake. And I'm like, dude, you got to go get away from us, go coach under a couple different guys, figure out some stuff, what you like to do, take from us what you liked, the stuff you didn't like, get rid of it. I mean, you have to evolve as a coach and as a young guy, and he's got a really good demeanor. He's got a relatability about him. He understands the game at such a young age. I always joke with him, hey, you never played defense for me in 4 years. I better never hear you ever talk to your kids about defense. So, but that's just a little running joke with us. But he does a great job, and trust me, he's going to be a very good head coach one day. And in my guess, it'll be sooner than later. I mean, he just loves basketball. He loves everything about it, and he's I read the article I think Travis put out there, and it's just, or Mark, one of them, sorry. But he's got this energy. He's 19 years old, and as you start to get older, like I think I got a lot of energy, but it's helped that we have younger assistants as well. I mean, those guys are closer to their 30s, but they're more relatable to kids. So I'm excited, and I love everything that obviously I coach with Josh. Josh has done a great job at Columbia under some hard circumstances, and getting his team laid every year off of football playoffs and everything else. And, he's already got a conference championship, and they're always amongst the league. So you're always happy to see your guys that you've coached with or coached be coaches and like I always said, don't be your own man. Like don't be. I'm an idiot. Don't act like me. Don't do me. You know, whatever you might X and O wise you like, then fine. But you know, make your own way. And you know, I couldn't be more proud of those two guys.
Larry, thanks for taking the time. Good luck against Vermillion on Tuesday. Kurt's got a tough one against Edison tonight. So, you know, one way or another, that ought to be a pretty decent ball game. And then we'll see you out there Friday over at your place.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Look forward to seeing you guys Friday. And thanks again for having me on.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks. Take care, and congratulations as far as your ability to get guys to move on and into that next level. That speaks volumes about some of the work you guys are doing over there. So that's top notch.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry Babbix with the Brookside Cardinals. We'll take a quick timeout. On the other side of the break, Brett Larrick with a huge win over Avon last night in the SWC, 78-64. Joins us next. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, streaming live online at WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Janssen. Joining us right now is Brett Larrick with the Elyria Pioneers, coming off of a 78-64 win over Avon. We had that game on WEOL.com and the CT YouTube channel last night. Brett, Rob mentioned several times throughout the game last night in the pregame that one of your teams, either you or Mike Fitch's Avon Eagles, were going to emerge with a third loss in conference. Somebody's going to be 4-3. Coming out of that ball game. It was not you, and you guys really got off to a tremendous start, and then were able to keep the pedal down for most of the second half.
Yeah, no, we talking to Rob before the game. You know, he was talking about Tuesday night's game in a little bit, and he goes, you know, they play well, you play bad. He goes, I go, we didn't play terrible. We had two bad spurts, and it's kind of that consistency we keep talking about. We came out with a focus. You know, our guys did a tremendous job. That first quarter is about the best we have played full court and half court this year. You know, we were locked in defensively on our assignments, what we want to do. We were making them take tough shots. They weren't getting easy looks. Offense was extended. And then we were able to get out and run. And then when you can get out and run and you get paint touches, shots become a little bit easier. And, yeah, just a tremendous start by our guys.
Yeah, you guys were tenacious defensively, created offense from your defense, and shot it well from the perimeter. You know, that's something that I think that in a game where you build a big lead, you can really draw some correlation to. You guys were, I think, 6 of 9 from deep in that first half.
Yeah, it was off good looks. It was off paint touches, and our percentages for the game. You know, we shot 68% from 2 for the game and about 38 from 3. You know, and that's off of getting out in transitions and being aggressive. You know, we shoot a lot of threes, we play fast, we shoot some bad shots, but when we can make that one more, what we call it, and get inside, outside, even if it's a 3-point attempt, you still drive to the paint. In the first half, we actually just watched our film and our clips that Coach Gunder does for us, and you know, we had like 3 or 4 where we're driving, we could have shot forced layups, and we kick out for threes. And those are really, really good shots for us. And once you score, it's easier to get into your defense, obviously, as well.
Brett, you've used the term paint touch a couple of times already. So describe for anybody listening what exactly you mean by that.
For us, it's our aggressiveness. You know, a lot of times, you know, paint touch is the key. You know, ours is painted red, so, you know, I think Avon was clear, whatever, just the wood. But anytime you can get in the key, you're forcing that defense to make a decision. And usually a defender is going to collapse or at least turn their head to look. And then our shooters know they've got to relocate, replace. But it's a mindset for us. It's an aggressiveness. You know, Villanova, Jay Wright used to call it logo touches because they used to have the Big East logo right underneath the free throw line. And we've talked to our point guard a lot about that. And, Jalen Brunson gets off 2 feet, gets to that logo. Now you're in the middle of the key and you can create. You can get cutters for layups. You have a nice elbow shot, or you can kick out to our shooters. And when we struggle is when the ball never gets inside the 3-point line, never gets to the paint, and we're just shooting fast threes. There's a difference in the type of threes. We can shoot threes, but they still got to be aggressive. We still got to get paint touches, kickouts, and then we can do one more or whatever. It just is a mindset for us.
When you were telling Rob that you didn't necessarily play bad, you just had bad stretches. As a coach, and Brett, you've been doing this for a very long time, have you ever been able to figure out why bad stretches happen? Specifically, let's go with this year's team. And how can you avoid, because you could play well for 3/4 of a game, but have one really bad stretch and it could cost you.
Yeah.
What do they have?
If anybody can figure that out, please let me know. Dealing with 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, sometimes it's tough. And, our thing is, and last night we just showed 3 clips last night where we made mistakes, but it's a next play mentality. You can't let one mistake become 2, become 3. And last night, I think we got backdoored twice, and both times we got the ball out of the net quick, down the floor. We put pressure on them, and we hit corner threes. So we gave up backdoor layups, which as a coach you don't like, but we got the ball out, got it down, we attacked, and we got open threes because our guys didn't hang their heads. A lot of times you make a mistake, you hang your head, you don't go as fast. So we got it out and went, and we actually scored on the other end. I think one was a 3 and one was our middle guy running for a wide open layup. And those are backbreakers. When you think you did a good job on offense, you got a backdoor layup, now you can set your defense, but we get it out so fast, and our guys are sprinting, and we score it within 5 seconds at the other end. And that's kind of mentality that we need. And, obviously we're going to miss shots, things like that, but it's got to be a next play mentality. You turn the ball over, I got to get a stop. I got to get back. And I thought last night, especially that first half, was really, really good. Second half, they kind of put some pressure on us, put their head down, forced the ref to call some fouls. That's why they got some paint touches and free throws. But, I was really proud of our guys' start. Avon packed gym. It was hotter than heck in there. Great student section. So I was really proud of our guys' start to the game.
And you guys traveled well, respectively, for Elyria, too. Your fans were packed in on a stands kind of surrounding where we were at in our broadcast perch. So hats off to the Elyria community to come out for that and support in the way they did in what was a terrific ball game. I think Tig Shelton maybe had 5 points, the first 5 of the game, if memory serves correct. And then he went right to work on Joey Ziegler on defense. That's a tough assignment for anybody. He's given up some size, but he stayed in front of him and really frustrated him. That's one heck of a ball player that he was able to circumvent.
Yeah, no, Joey's had a tremendous start to the year. I know he missed Saturday because resting his knees. But I think the last 4 or 5 games, he's been in the 20s, 26, 24, 22. He ended up with 14 last night, but that was a hard-earned 14. Yeah. I thought Tink really set a tone. First play of the game, we ran something and we got him right to the elbow. They didn't guard it. And I told him that is a great shot. A lot of times we don't always get a great shot. It's elbow. It's you're on balance, shoot it. So he makes that, gets his 3, kind of gets us going. But then it got us right into our defense where he scored it, got right up into Joey. I thought he'd been playing point guard a lot this year, so we wanted to put him on and make him work. He didn't bring it up as much, and then we limited his touches. It was just Tink did a great job, but our other guys showing and bumping when he was coming off screens as well. But Tink definitely set a tone for us, and giving up that height, he got a couple of times in the second half where he attacked, but Tink really set our tone defensively, and that's what we tell him. It doesn't matter how many points he scores. He should never lead us in scoring with the weapons we have around it. He can do so many other things where he sets that offensive and defensive tone for us. And last night was a great example of it.
Moving on now, we can look ahead to Tuesday. I'll be over at your place. We had Chris Delisio on earlier today. They come off of a win over Ridgeville last night, and a talented Ridgeville team, as you know. And Chris basically made mention that, when he looks at your roster, there's no deficiencies in terms of, you can do it all. You can play defense. You're fast. You can shoot. You can go inside. And, he's basically saying that, Ridgeville has a lot of those same elements. So in a way, it couldn't have come at a better time for him to play Ridgeville, getting prepared to see you guys on Tuesday. What are your thoughts on that matchup and just what that's meant to the league over the years?
Well, I mean, Chris Olmsted Falls, has done such a great job with his guys. And when you play them, you're getting basketball players. They know how to play, they know how to cut, they know how to move, they can all pass, they can all shoot. He's being very kind, but he's got us the last couple of years. So he's being a little modest over there. He's got some really good players as well. But it's a tough matchup. Their style of play, they have different guys that can bring it down. Kind of negated our pressure the first time, and we had some different lineups that game, and we never really got ourselves going. And that's the thing. That first quarter, first half last night is who we need to be. That's who we have to be. And that's not for 1 quarter, 2 quarters. That's who we need to be all the time. And this is what I talked with Rob about. This is a consistency that we're searching for. We don't need to be playing our best right now because you want to keep building towards the end of the year. But we got to start getting a lot closer to it and a lot more consistent. I thought last night was a good step forward to that. And we're going to need it Tuesday. We're going to need our best effort defensively against them, guarding their shooters, guarding their back door. But good thing for us is we get tonight off, and we're going to go get a nice live look. They have Strongsville this evening, so we'll get to see them. And hopefully it wears them out a little bit for Tuesday because we'll need every advantage we can get.
Well, Brett, I was going to say, we're looking forward to being over at your place Tuesday. Hopefully everything works out well for you as far as the scouting report is concerned. It's a good game for the community. I hope everybody comes out there to see some grade A basketball on Tuesday.
Yeah, it should be a great crowd. They'll travel well. You said last night, our fans travel well, and, it's a good group to watch, especially when we got it going like last night. And we're looking forward to that on Tuesday as well. We've been good at home. And we need to have our best effort this coming Tuesday.
Well, best of luck, Brett. Thanks for taking the time this morning, and we will look forward to reaching out to you again Tuesday when you host Falls.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on this morning. Have a great weekend.
You do the same. Thanks again. That's Brett Larrick with the Elyria Pioneers. Big one on Tuesday. We're going to take a quick break. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar, Ron Yance. One more guest to get. It's a good one. Faith Williams with the Columbia Raiders joins us next on the other side of the break.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And welcome back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. It's Jared Kozar along with Ron Yance. And now the second-year head coach with the Columbia Raiders, Faith Williams, joins us. I wasn't confirming that. I was talking to my tag team partner, Ron Yance, said, yeah, certainly, Faith, we're familiar with your program. We're familiar with you as a player from EC. So you're no stranger to this program. You were on it last year when you guys were on one heck of a run, and we followed you to a district game that was down near Massillon where you ran into Smithville. But big news in Columbia earlier this week is you guys were able to take down Keystone, the conference leader. And, just tell us about kind of how that matchup's gone and just building up to that, the success that you've had in league play.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be on here with you guys this morning. It's been a wild ride this season. We have been fighting some injuries, but to prepare and execute our game plan against Keystone this last week was just phenomenal. And the girls are really learning to treat every single game like it's the same. We don't put any opponent on a pedestal and we don't look down on any opponent. We treat them as equal to us. So I think that was huge with us for our success for that game.
A great story yesterday in the Chronicle Telegram. Phenomenal work by Todd Shapiro, one of our colleagues, just kind of outlining your journey and, some differences between this year's team and last year's team that, made that run and how you're able to retool on the fly.
Yeah, Todd's awesome. That was an amazing article he wrote. But yeah, for sure, it's been completely different from last year. We had 5 seniors last year, a lot of experience. And going into this year, having so many injuries and being so young, we knew that there were adjustments that we would have to make. But the girls have really just stayed on the course. They've stayed focused. They've stayed together. They really listen, and they know that our end goal right now is to win an LCA championship for the first time in 10 years. And that's just really what we've been focusing on. And they're doing an amazing job.
Faith, how do you see maybe a reflection of you in the young women that you coach?
I try to give them as much energy as I possibly can. When I was a player, that was my bread and butter, like that energy and having confidence. And I try to encourage them to have that energy as much as I can and play with confidence and know that their hard work will put them in the right spots. And there's definitely a lot that I have learned from playing. I apply here as a coach, and it's really a fun thing. Like, I never knew how fun coaching could be until I got here, because I love to teach these girls and just use my knowledge from what I've learned.
Let's stick with the word confidence for a second. You mentioned it in that answer, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on where you think the confidence level is for the collection of girls that you're coaching this year, and how much of the success that you had last year has, used or been a foundational base for that confidence.
Yeah, last year, the schedule that we played and the run that we made, definitely it gave the girls confidence and the ability to be comfortable in high pressure situations. Mm-hmm. And we talked before this season, I said I made a really hard schedule again, but we're not scared of that. In these games that we play, like we played Warren, JFK, Lorraine, North Ridgeville, like we're a smaller school, and like we're not afraid to play these big teams, these really good teams, because that's going to help our confidence even more. And they have really, really bought into that. So when we were playing against Keystone last week, and that's been a high pressure game for years in this conference, they were like, oh, we've been here before. Like, we just played Smithville, who kicked us out of the regional tournament. We just played them a few weeks ago. We beat them. Like, we have confidence in ourselves. We have confidence in each other. And they've just fully bought in. And I believe when you have confidence, like, there's not much that can stop you as a team.
And, when you're speaking, not much that can stop you as a team, sort of somebody in your peer group in the coaching fraternity, Onyx Lopez of the Firelands Falcons, you've got a big game this afternoon in terms of they're coming to your place, correct?
Yep.
So you do have that home cooking going for you. But, Firelands, they always want to stay in that conference as well. It's sort of a three-horse race when you look at the top of that conference. And she's had success over there in being able to dictate some of that storyline of who can win a conference title in the Lorain County League. So what do you have to do to prepare for her and her ball club this afternoon?
For sure. Onyx is a great coach. I really respect her. And they have a very aggressive, very gritty team. And that's why I told my girls, like, we have to be ready for this, because this team, they're going to be ready to go. They've been preparing for us. And right now there's a reason why us, Firelands, and Keystone are all tied in first. Like, we all want this conference championship bad. So who's going to want it the most? Who's going to do the little things right? And I think that's what it's going to come down to today, because it's going to be a hard fought game. We lost to them earlier in the season. We didn't have all of our starters, but I mean, we lost to them. And at this point, like, who wants this game more? Because it could determine a lot for us. So we have to be ready to go.
It's fun to get ready for games like this, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And you're making it a regular occurrence at Columbia with your success.
Yeah, certainly good things on the horizon as far as, just loved covering your team last year, a special group, and just to see you be able to do it again. And like you said, matter in conference and just sort of, retooling. There isn't really any time to rebuild a program anymore. It's just, you've got to go with what you have, especially in a system like Columbia, where your athletes are your athletes. You've got to get the most out of them and make it productive for both you and them as the experience.
Yep, for sure. We have a lot of good, confident, strong, hardworking players right now. I have one returner, Alyssa Goebel from last year, one returning starter. Bella Harehuth was able to recover from an injury. She's outstanding. We have a lot of young girls stepping up, and like, the pieces are coming together right now, and we're having a lot of fun.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us this morning. Good to catch up with you. Good luck this afternoon against a very talented Firelands Falcons team. Anybody looking for some girls hoops action, that would be one I'd have circled. Get out there. Weather's starting to clear up. It's not as snowy as it once was, so get out there and enjoy it. Faith, thanks for the time this morning. We appreciate catching up with you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Faith.
Take care. Faith Williams, second-year coach with the Columbia Raiders. Many remember her as a dynamic product with Elyria Catholic. You talk about the coaching tree, the Rothgary coaching tree. We had Faith Williams on. We had Brittany McNamara Cole, both on EC basketball teams. Maybe not the same one, but the point is that they're going places. Yeah. They're doing something right over there.
Well, it's like Larry Babick said. It's fun for guys like him or Eric Rothgary to see those young people in their lives who are, starting to build their own foundational base as a coach.
Certainly more than that, Emily Taylor on the collegiate ranks, a great coach in her own right. So I didn't want to short anybody on that EC staff. But Ron, we're up against it. We got to get out. We want to thank everybody. We want to thank our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, Nick Abraham, Buick GMC, Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company. The folks over at Lorain County Community College, high quality education for good jobs, and the folks over at Lorain Medina Rural Electrical Cooperative, that is LMRE, your Touchstone Energy Corporation. For my partner Ron Yatz, I'm Jared Kozar. Stick around on WEOL.com. In about an hour and 15 minutes, it'll be Rob Polinsky and I over at Midview bringing you girls basketball action as the Lady Middies host the Lady Comets of Amherst. That'll be online at WEOL.com and also the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page.